Welcome to Catholic Alpha Unleashed, where Christian soldiers congregate, where we rock the authentic manliness of our Lord Jesus Christ, filtered through His truth, which is the only truth of real men of courage, while condemning the cowardly actions of the effeminate, the emasculated, the just plain wusses of our society. Forever presenting the question: be you wuss or be you warrior? Hello again, and welcome to Catholic Alpha Unleashed. I'm Jerry Jacobs Jr., and I save marriages. So let's do this. Today's quote comes from Proverbs 27:17, and it states, "As iron sharpens iron, so does one man sharpen another." Proverbs 27:17. Now, I come across this a lot in today's society, and what we must begin to realize, as a quick side note, is that truthfully, only men can sharpen men. Men, they don't do well following women. That's just the basic. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but what I call it is the truth. And what we have to realize as women and as men, that everyone has their roles. And it's hard for men to be influenced by anything other than a man. That's what happens when single mothers raise their boys. After the boys get so big and they get cocky and start smelling themselves, they don't listen to their mother no more. They don't. Some boys do, but many of them don't. Why? Because their mother is, most of the time, she's smaller, her voice is softer, and there's no man around to get them to do what they need to do. So that's one of the most important things that I think that we should take away from that quote, is from the Bible, from Proverbs, is if you want to change society, first thing you gotta do is insist on putting God back into it. That's number one. But the second thing is you got to get your men together. As long as your men are emasculated and effeminate, and they soft and wusses, they don't stand up for nothing, they don't die for nothing. I mean, this is what you're gonna have. So that's why you need your women and wives need to build your husband up so that he can do what he needs to do. And you be his helpmate, and y'all do get things accomplished together. As long as you're trying to overrun him, first of all, God ain't gonna allow it. Your marriage ain't gonna never be right. As long as you're trying to run your husband, your marriage ain't gonna never be right. As long as your husband tries to dominate you, your marriage ain't gonna be right. That's why he needs to follow Christ. You follow your husband and Christ, and the children follow you. The children follow you, your husband, and Christ. That's the proper order of things. So let's get started. So today's post is called Christian Marriage Counseling Public Enemy Number 1. Christian Marriage Counseling Public Enemy Number 1. Now, what do I mean by Christian Counseling Public Enemy Number 1? Well, look at the divorce rate. Everybody wants a divorce. Everybody's going to divorce court. That's where we are these days. We don't stick together. We don't stay together. And what is the first thing mostly everybody does when they think they're having marriage problems? They go see the marriage counselor. And guess what the marriage counselor's success rate is? I've heard it's like as low as 10%. Now, I'm not sure if that's true, but I got it from a reliable source. Father Ripperger, he's a psychologist, and he's a priest in the church, and this is his job. And he says that the marriage success rate for counseling is 10%. So my thing is, I don't have anything against marriage counseling, Christian marriage, if it's the right kind of counseling, but usually that's your last resort. And that's your last resort. Why? First of all, it's only 10%. Second of all, it's because men ain't trying to go to marriage counseling. They ain't gonna do it. And if you get them there, they ain't gonna act right. Our job, all the things men want to do, what we want to do is we want to fix stuff. So if you have us in marriage counseling and then you have us You talking to us for an hour every week for 10 years straight. We're just going to stop listening to you. That's just what we are. That talking stuff is for women and all the emotional stuff. That's what we're made different. And basically, usually what I've in my research, what I found is that what happens that not all the time, but many times, is the husband starts getting blamed for the marriage problems. So what man wants to sit there and be insulted and have his manhood attacked, and you have two people, a counselor, whether it be a man or a woman, it doesn't matter, a counselor and his wife sitting there attacking him and saying it's all his fault. That's the last thing a man wants to do. So how do we solve this problem? We solve this problem by this. First of all, we as husbands, we need to have something that we can look to and study and go through on our own. And that's really a good deal. That way is we can fix ourselves, and then our wives will be compelled to fix themselves. That's the thing about Catholic Alpha. We don't really focus on wives because we can't fix them. We can't make our wives do nothing. They're grown adults. They're not our children. Even if you did force your wife to even if you did force your wife to change, she's not going to change for long. And then if she don't want to change, it's not going to stick. So that's why here at Catholic Alpha, we focus on fixing the husband. We fix ourselves. Like I always say, the buck stops right here anyway. God holds you responsible. So you don't try to, that's why God gives us free will. God, the Father, makes no one follow him. No one. It's your choice. Either you want to believe and be faithful and obedient and follow him and get all the love and grace that you can handle on this earth, or you could be disobedient and do your own thing. But the Father, he lets you do whatever you want. Now, to be honest, he's going to open up the floodgates and let evil be in your marriage and in your life and in your kids' life and at your job, at your church, all that stuff. Evil will flow in, but that's not the Father doing it. That's the choice you made, just like going to hell. God don't send anybody to hell. We send ourselves. Either you choose to do what's asked of you and be obedient, or you go to hell. You choose it, either heaven, purgatory, or hell. That's the bottom line. So, that being said, my point for all is we need examples of before we start hitting the counselor. And that's our problem, because I guess this is something against marriage counselors, but everybody's about the money. We all have an agenda, and psychiatrists and psychologists, they go to school for 8, 10, 12 years to get their doctorate because they want to make money. So it's kind of a conflict of interest a little bit, but my point of it is everybody wants to go to a counselor first. It used to be people would solve their own problems. They had their family, they'd sit down and talk, and the husband and wife would speak to each other, and then they would work it out. Nowadays, first thing everybody want to do, and I know California started this stuff, everybody's going to the counselor. For every little thing we go to counselor. We can't handle nothing. We want to get on drugs. We want to dope ourselves up. We want to dope our kids up. We want to dope our spouses up, dope ourselves up. Hey, how can you function like that? That's not real. So I'm saying is the solution, and not just my solution, this is the solution of many other psychiatrists and psychologists that are on the board with this. They say, look, a marriage needs a mentor, other couples that are doing what that they are trying to be like. So if in your, say your mother and father, they have an awesome, romantic, magnificent marriage, then you as the husband and your wife should be looking to them for mentorship. Instead, when you have a problem, the wife goes to the goes to the mother. When the husband's having a problem, he goes to the father. And that couple helps keep you on track. Because the first thing everybody want to do, they want to go to counseling and put all that weight on a counselor who don't really care about them because they don't have nothing invested like that. It's not personal. That's just the truth. But your parents or a couple that you're friends with or that you know at church or whatever, they have an investment in you to keep your family together. So my point is we should look to other couples that we want to be like. And not just any couple. I mean, a couple, they're going to mass every week. They're going to see, you know, they're doing works in the church. The wife is virtuous. The husband is virtuous. I mean, they seem happy together. I mean, they're going to have problems, but everybody has problems and difficulties and trials. But the difference is called perseverance. It's called perseverance, which means you fight through no matter what. But most people today, they don't want to do that. They think the grass is greener. They go running over here to Billy Joe Bob, who, you know, his life ain't about nothing either, but the wife wants to sleep with him. And then when he don't treat her right, she go miss somebody else. Same with the husband. His wife is not acting like she's supposed to, so what does he do? He go find somewhere else, and he thinks the grass is greener. Oh, then she's too clingy, because he don't know that he didn't bonded with her too, so he's bonded with his wife, bonded with the mistress, bonded with the mistress's daughter, bonded with the daughter's friend. You know, you got 4 or 5 women you're sleeping with, and you're bonding with them, and you wonder why you can't get rid of none of them. Well, because you don't have no perseverance. You keep hopping around. You won't man up and stick with the woman you got and make her happy. That's the thing. Dudes kill me walking around. They can't satisfy them wives. No way. They can't satisfy her in the bed. They can't satisfy her with conversation. They can't satisfy her with any other way. But they got the nerve to walk around here and confident like they the man and walking around here messing with other women and stuff. That don't make no sense, man. The deal comes with, look, satisfy the one you with. Get her happy. Make her happy. Make her want to be the best wife she can. Make her want to be the best wife in the country, in the world. Give her some self-esteem and some self-confidence that she wants to be the wife that you want her to be. But you can't do that until you what? Fix yourself. So that's why I say marriage counseling it should be your last resort. I'm not saying that in all cases, but most cases, you should, there's, you know, priests and pastors and psychotherapists and all them people, they should be down the totem pole. First thing you should be doing is when you first get married, there should be a couple that you both agree is where you're trying to be. Why? Because you don't want to get the 7-year itch. You don't want to be looking at 7 years or 2 years or a year talking about I want to get divorced. You know, you ain't even into the marriage yet in a year. You're really into the marriage yet in 7 years. You have to have perseverance, and you have to say, which brings me to my next point. So what I want to do is get you to understand, is go over 5 questions in your mind. So I'm going to read these questions, and I want you to think about them as I read them. I'm going to give you a second. I'm going to compliment on them a little bit, but I want you to really think about this. Matter of fact, you can read the blog post below, or if you're on YouTube, click the link, the blog post link. It'll take you there, and the five questions are in the blog post. It's in a nice, colorful, layout so that you can really look at them. So why do I want to answer these questions? Well, because, like I said before, you can't force your wife to change. Because we must begin fixing us. And if you fix you, I promise you, if you get the rough edges off you and get all your stuff together and get yourself together, your wife will wonder what in the heck is wrong with him. Woo, he's sexy again. He's the kind of man I want to be with. Right now, you ain't that man because you didn't got complacent. You didn't got aloof. You didn't got lazy. You didn't want her. You think you didn't want her heart. But now you ain't want her heart because you got to win your wife's heart every day, not just today, every day. And so you get complacent. Start spending time with your boys. Start watching football and basketball and hockey and baseball and stuff. Soccer all the time. You know, you're not really into her. So she's not into you. So this is the problems we have. So my point is, I'm asking you to consider, even if you think you have a good marriage, like I always say, if you think you have a good marriage, you got egoism going on. That's your pride talking. Pride's a sin, and it'll overrun your life and screw you up. You never think when it comes to your marriage and your woman, you never ever think you got it all together, because you don't. Even me, I ain't got it all together. I don't. But what I do is I try my best every single day to get myself together. And I'll never take my wife for granted. I'm always talking to her, asking her, is she okay? Making sure she's all right. You know why? Because that shows I care. And that women, that's what they about, man. They want closeness and appreciation and caring. just in, and if you don't do that, if you preoccupied, distracted with the life of this society and stuff, you're not trying to be like Christ, man, you're going to lose your woman. You're going to lose her. Straightforward, straight up. You're going to lose her. So, but my point of it is, if you change yourself and fix you, you become like Christ. You try to become a saint. You try to become holy. You try to become perfect. And you praying, and you get on your knees, and you in adoration. You going to mass daily, and you praying to God and offering up prayers for your wife and your marriage. Man, that's the first step. Your wife will be compelled to change and to follow your footsteps. But you got to fix you first. Man, just trust me on that. If anything I ever say, you focus on you and fix you, and then your wife has no ammunition for you. See, that's how you won't have to go at marriage counseling. And one thing I do know about psychologists, they really don't want a crazy couple in their office. They really don't. They would rather you, because most of them are good people, they would rather you fix your stuff and get most of it together before you come see them. So that they just, the icing on the cake, they giving you action steps to make your marriage better. But everybody wants to go to a counselor before they even tried anything. And the counselor's like, oh, wait up. Dang, it takes them 10 years to get you 10% right. So that's that. So the first question is, why do you think you're having mild or severe intimacy problems in your marriage when it comes to the marital embrace? Now, why is this first? This is first because most of us do have we have sexual performance problems, and we have to make sure that we got ourselves together. Our wives, sex is very important to our wives. Sex is very important to us, and sex, even more important, is important to the father. That's why I spent that couple of minutes talking about infidelity at the beginning of this post. Because, man, if you can't satisfy your woman, you shouldn't be out doing nothing. You should be figuring out how to do that. And I don't mean you get satisfied. I mean her totally, completely, and deeply sexually fulfilled and satisfied. Do you even know what that means? Have you ever talked to your wife about that? See, man, that's what I'm saying. You ain't got it together. You ain't got it together, man. You really ain't. If you're not becoming one flesh with your wife at least twice a week, you're gonna have a problem eventually. You're gonna have a problem. People saying, how do you mean having sex 1, 2, 3 times a week? Man, because that's what closeness, that builds closeness. Friendship, marriage and friendship set on fire, dude. That's what it's about. And if you and your wife aren't together and having closeness and becoming close with each other and making love at least a couple times a week, at the minimum once. I know people that go 2, 3, 4 a week, a month, 6 months, a year. I know people in sexless marriages ain't had sex in 5 years. And they think their marriage is gonna survive. Man, the Father don't look at sex like that. That's why it's called the marital embrace. That's why it's called the holy caress. Because we have to learn that sex is the most important act in your marriage. It is. Why? Because it breeds closeness. Your wife begins to understand that you truly care about her, that you're truly all in, that you will be there for the long haul. That's one of the ways that you build prayer and sexual fulfillment for your woman. Those are the first two things, dude. And if you ain't doing that right, you're going to have a problem. If you ain't got a problem now, you eventually will. And I don't care if you're 65 or 75 years old, either. I don't care if you're 25 or 35. You have to understand this sex is not about eroticism, what you see on TV, what you see in the movies, and all that kind of crazy stuff. Sex is about intimacy and closeness and appreciation. Not with words that's coming out of your mouth, with your actions. So, moving on. Question number 2. Why do you want to save your marriage? Now, a lot of you men reading this, listening to this, or reading my post, you don't think your marriage has a problem. First of all, now you got a problem because you don't think your marriage has a problem. Bam. Like I said before, if you think your marriage is so great, then you got an ego problem. And if you don't, eventually your marriage will fail, because that means that you don't care enough and you're not focused enough on making sure that your wife is ready and prepared, and your wife is, happy and fulfilled. And you can ask her, why are you so focused on her? I'm focused on her, dude, because that's the nurture of your home. That's the heart of your home, man. Without your woman, man, your family, you don't have a family, man. Without your woman, you don't have a family, dude. You don't. You don't have a family. You don't have a marriage. You don't have a family. Your kids ain't going to be right. Just like these dudes that want to go and divorce their woman. They think, and the mother and the husband, wife, oh, they gonna survive. No, they ain't. The kids ain't going to be all right. Your kids will not be all right if you get divorced or if you separate. That is just some selfish bull crap. Just straight out. That's totally selfish. Totally selfish. Because you are worried about you. Your wife is worried about her. About what you feel, what you want. See, man, that ain't the way it rolls, man. Remember, God first. Your marriage second, which is your woman. Your family third, which is your kids. And yourself is last. If you're getting divorced, most of the time, you ain't doing something. You ain't right. You ain't right. And that's what I'm saying. When people are having marital problems or any kind of problem in the world, it doesn't have to be marital problems, any kind of problems. At least half of the problem is you. It's your own self. But we don't look at our own self. What do? We want to blame our woman. Yeah, we're going to blame her. I always want to blame our wife. Sure, she got problems. She can do messed up and dumb stuff too. But man, you do too. So you are the man. You are responsible for the family. You're responsible for this country. You're responsible for this earth. You got to fix stuff. That's what you do, right? You don't want to sit in marriage counseling, do you? So you need to start fixing stuff and figure out how to do it. Start sitting on your butt. Really. Your wife, you cannot survive without your wife. Your kids cannot survive without your wife. But what you got to do is fix you. And I promise to the Holy Father, I promise to Christ, man, that your wife will change. Unless she's just totally crazy and stupid. Because most women, most wives, they are waiting for you to get your stuff together. Because they feel they tried. Like I said, you can't change her, but you can change you. And then once you get your ammunition, once you get yourself together, she has no ammunition. She will be compelled to get her act together. She will go out and talk to her friends and go talk to her priest. She'll figure out how to get herself right to be the wife that you need her to be. Slam. Okay, the next question. Do you possess enough perseverance and fortitude to endure for the long haul? Question, do you possess enough perseverance and fortitude to endure for the long haul? That's what I was saying before. You got to have perseverance. You can't give up, man, like a weakling. You got to be mentally tough. You got to be mentally strong. You got to figure out how to fix it. You got to get yourself together. And then you won't be in marriage counseling. I promise you won't. You won't. Because once your wife sees that you right, she's going to spread your love that you show her. She's going to spread it to your kids and your family. She's going to spread your love to everybody else. But see, as long as you ain't right, your wife ain't going to be right. As long as your wife ain't right, your kids ain't going to be right. As long as your kids and your wife ain't right, guess who ain't right? You. Bam. That's what I'm saying. It's really simple when you think about it. It's a simple system. But people, we think we know everything. We think I ain't got to do nothing. Heck, she already had all my kids. I already made love to her and had sex with her 5,000 times. What I got to keep doing that for? What I got to keep telling her how beautiful she is and how pretty she is and how her eyes look and how nice her legs are and how nice her hands look and her feet feel and, how nice her butt is or whatever. Whatever turns you on about your wife, man, you got to let her know. You just can't be walking around and just think your wife is doing all this work, raising these kids. Most wives these days are going to work and stuff. And then they come home and you come home and you just like, don't even get a woman a kiss and tell her how much you feel about her or nothing. Never do that. Man, you just crazy, man. You crazy. And you think that your marriage is going to be great. You wonder why. You do think you got a good marriage. The same with you. Same with you. Do not take your wife for granted or you will regret it. Next person. So perseverance, man. You there for the long haul. The last thing, a couple more. 6 months or a year from now, what vision do you have for your marriage? 6 months or a year from now, what vision do you have for your marriage? See, most of us never even asked that. I never asked myself that when I was stupid. Never did. I just figured we going day to day. We gonna make it. We gonna die together and whatever. Man, that ain't how it works, dude. You want your marriage to be heaven on earth, but you got to work at it. Yeah, you got to work at your marriage, man. You can't just sit around thinking everything's going to be all right. So that's why I'm asking you, 6 months to a year from now, what is your vision for your marriage? You envision divorce? You envision another baby in the house? Do you envision you and your wife together and loving each other as hard as you can? Do you envision, that y'all closer together, that y'all best friends? Because most of us right now, our wives aren't even our best friends. That's how silly we are. Our wives are not our best friends. How do you expect to be one flesh with your wife if she's not your best friend? If you got some other knucklehead dude that's your best friend? That don't even make no sense. So what did you just marry your wife for the sex? Guess what? How'd that work for you? How'd that work for you now? You 4 years into the marriage and all you got is sex in common. Does that make sense? No, that's stupid. Come on, dude. You think about that. 6 months to a year from now, what is the vision for your marriage? If you don't know, you just sit down with your wife and talk about it. What are her dreams for the marriage? What are your dreams for the marriage? What is it? What do you want to do? What do you feel? How close you want to be? You want to be closer? No matter how close you are, you can always be closer. You know why? Because both of y'all should be one flesh with a journey toward the Father, God Almighty. If you're doing that, your marriage will improve each day, each month, each year. Okay, last one. And last, what is your plan to get there for the last question? So 6 months to a year from now, how do you look at that? What's your plan to get there? See, you ain't thought about that, have you? You're too busy wondering about who won the Super Bowl this year. Or you're too busy worrying about I'm going on my fishing trip. Yeah, I know you fishers. I know how y'all are. Or I'm going to the golf course. You worry more about going to the golf course than what your woman thinks about you. Man, you crazy, man. I don't care. Get mad at me if you want to, but my wife is cool. My wife is cool. Ask her. She'll tell you. And I'm not saying I'm the best. I am not far from the best. I am not perfect, but I'm trying to be perfect. I'm trying my dangest to be perfect. You know why? Because that's what the Father asked me to be. He asked me to be holy and asked me to saint and asked me to try to be perfect. And if you ain't trying to be perfect, you just a loser. Because you just like everybody else out here. Well, how special are you? Are you trying to do what the society's trying to do, and you're not trying to do what the Father's trying to do? You ain't got together. And I'm being hard on you, man, because I'm sick and tired of this crap. I'm sick and tired of these kids by themselves, their mother and father all broke up and stuff. I'm sick and tired of the gay boys and the gay marriage thing. You got gay marriage now. Now what you gonna do? Now your boys, what your boys gotta look up to? 2 men walking down the street holding and kissing hands, and that's the example of a man for your son now. I ain't got nothing against gay dudes. I just think they need to get with God and carry their cross. Just like me, I'm fat, but I carry my cross. Your cross might be, you might have schizophrenia or you might have a mental problem, but you carry your cross. Why we don't let the homosexuals and the lesbians, why we make them carry their cross? They are a bad example to society. It's just the bottom line. It's not nothing against them. The church loves them and everything, but man, we can't, the church, God is not going to let you just keep going around and setting a bad example for this society. And I'm not just talking about the gay people. I'm talking about us men too. We break our families up. We go around and mess around on our wives. We don't take care of business, man. What kind of example are we setting? We let these crazy people out here tell us how to be. When we know that ain't the right way. We know that ain't the right way to be, man. Come on, man. Let's just be real about this. I'm sick and tired of broken families. I'm sick and tired of every time you talk to a dude, oh man, she did this, man. She did that, man. I talk to the dudes all the time. First thing they always do is talk about what the woman did or what they did or what their mama did or what their daddy did, what their sister did. They don't never talk about what they do. Nobody ever talks about what they do. You know why? Because they selfish. You can't win in life being selfish. If you selfish, you a loser. That's just the basic bottom line. Because you don't care about nobody but yourself. You can't give your love to anybody else because you're too focused on you. Love is meant to be shared. That's why husbands and wives take contraception. Because they don't want to have no kids. They want to do it on their own. They think they can do it. They take contraception, birth control. Then they love each other. And then 20 years from now, 10 years from now, they 50 and 60 years old and got one kid. The kid dies or something. And now they ain't got no kids. Dude, the Father has this set up for a reason, man. It's simple. If you just follow the plan, you'll be fine. So my point is, what can you do? What is your plan to get to for your marriage the next 6 months to a year? See, figure that out, and then you'll be on the way. So, early on, and like I said, early on in my life and in my marriages, man, I didn't answer myself any of these questions. I thought I had it all together. Well, no, I ain't gonna say I thought I had it all together, but I thought I was okay. I thought I was okay. I wasn't okay, man. I wasn't okay. I mean, that's just we gotta start being honest with ourselves, man. Look at society, man. Look at your environment. Just don't even look at the Middle East, or look at the Ireland or Canada or Mexico or even the United States. Just look at your own environment, your house, your work, your church, everything around you. Just look at your immediate environment. That's the only thing that you really can influence anyway. But look at the people around you, man. Ain't you sick of this? I mean, really, ain't you sick of this, man? Ain't you sick of evil surrounding everywhere and you wondering, what can I do? Well, what you can do, first of all, is get your butt on your knees to the Father and pray for your wife and your children. And then you become a man of courage, which means you stand for the truth, which means you don't let nobody take you away from Christ, because you know that's the way he wants things done. And then you special. Then you different. You ain't like every other crazy loser person out here that thinks they got it all together and don't. Can't keep their woman happy. Woman, every time you look up, a woman home to her mama and stuff. You know, you got a woman, all these women 65, 75 years old by themselves because they drunk the feminist Kool-Aid. And now they ain't got no children. They ain't got no husband. They by themselves in the nursing home. That's tough language, but that's the truth. And to me, it's the men's fault, because we have allowed our women to just lose their dang minds, man. We don't take care of them no more. We don't cherish them. We don't treat them like ladies. You know why? And first thing somebody gonna say is, well, they decided to do this. This is on them. No, it ain't on them. You the leader, man. You are the man. You are the one that God charged to take care of this. And what have we done? We drunk the Kool-Aid too. We drunk the Kool-Aid, man, and it's time. I'm tired of it. We have to get ourselves together. Your wife is not gonna follow you if you're an idiot, man. She's not gonna respect you if you're an idiot. She's not. Although she's commanded by God to respect you, but man, who wants to just do things because they have to all the time? Sometimes it's nice to do something because somebody, it's nice to respect somebody because in my heart, I want to do it. And I just wish that we would just get it together, man. I just really wish we do. And it just saddens my heart. It saddens my heart that we are so emasculated and so effeminate. And we're cowards, man. We won't stick up for nothing. We won't die for nothing. We won't sacrifice our life for nothing. And that brings me to my next point. I mean, what is love? That's the question. To you, what is love? I'm going to tell you what it is. Love is an act of the will. You can't base love on feelings. You know why? Because feelings are going to abandon you. And that's why we having the divorce and having not just divorces, the separation, people living together and they ain't married, they having sex when they ain't married, they using each other like objects, like man, people living together and having sex and they ain't tied the bond. I don't care what anybody tells me. Basically, you're using that woman as a fork and a knife, and she's using you as a spoon to satisfy herself. But I'm not talking about the woman. I'm talking about you. If you're watching this video and you're not married and you're living with this girl, using up her youth, using up her beauty, using up her vitality, man, you got something seriously wrong with you. Now, take that morality to that relativism, morality to the bank. Yeah, you think ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, right. You're using that poor girl up. And you won't even and then you think, oh, I love her. Well, if you love her, man up and marry her, dude. Make her a woman. Give that girl some kids. Make her understand what love really means. Not this what you doing what you want to do to make you feel good. So love is an act of the will. That means that no matter what, I was talking about perseverance. That means that no matter what happens, you have made your mind up as a man of God, that I'm gonna be here no matter what. So with that, I've said this in other writings. I hope that I can be a man that if my wife got paralyzed from her neck down tomorrow, that God would give me the grace to love her and care for her enough to be there for her, to do whatever it takes to need to care for her. Now, right now, sitting here, I'm saying I will, but man, I can't do it without Christ, man. And that's what I'm asking you to do. You know, understand what love really is. Love is a duty. It's a commitment. It's a saying that I'm there no matter what. That's why we fail in our faith. That's why we fail in God. You know, we think we're supposed to go to church and hoopla all around. Oh, Lord, oh, Jesus, I love you, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Man, that is not what the Christian faith is about. And I don't care what nobody tells you. The Christian faith is about uniting your suffering and sacrifice with that of Christ. Big deal and bottom line. And if you're doing anything else, you got a problem. You need to get in the book and understand. You need to find somebody that understands what Christ is about. It ain't about how feeling good. The faith is about your will. You're not going to abandon God. You're not going to abandon Christ. And you're going to take in the Holy Spirit to help you connect with the suffering and the sacrifice of Christ so that you can make this world better. It's called spiritual warfare, man. You better ask somebody. My parents divorced late too. So I understand what divorce is about. The good thing is my parents didn't divorce when I was young. They divorced when I was like 16, or they separated when I was like 16, something like that, 17. So basically my father that's why I'm so thankful. I mean, my father ain't the best father in the world, but my father, he was around. I mean, he was around until, even when him and my mother separated, you know, I still saw him all the time. But they eventually got divorced when we was in our 20s. Me and my sister was in our 20s. But I'm going to still say this. Our family has never recovered. We have never recovered, man. Our family is broken, and it's going to be broken until my mother and my father marry again. If people think that's stupid, that just because you get divorced, by God and God's eyes, man, you still married. So don't be thinking that you got 2 or 3 wives, and I didn't have 2 or 3 wives. I don't love her no more. Well, according to Christ, dude, that's your first wife is your wife unless she's dead. And that's the truth. You need to start having if your friends are your friends, man, they'll tell you stuff I'm telling you. They will tell you stuff that I'm telling you. If you with your friends, the only thing y'all talk about is sports, video games, cars, and fishing and golf, man, is that really a friendship? I mean, do you really have anything in common? I mean, really? Does it really mean anything? You think just because you're having a good time together? Whatever. But I tell you what, soon as things go wrong, soon as you get arrested, soon as you can't walk no more, you got 2 broken legs, soon as you have a heart attack and you lay up in the bed, where your friends going to be? Sure, they're going to be there for a minute, but for the most part, you won't see them again. But guess who's going to be there when you can't walk no more and you need somebody to wipe your butt? Guess who's going to be there? Your wife going to be there. You see how I ain't saying I'm letting that sinking in. Your wife gonna be there. If you lay the foundation right and you make her feel like she's first in all things, I promise you, something goes wrong with you after you've eaten all those burgers and those french fries and those hot dogs and all that cheesecake and all them bonbons, and you have a heart attack, your blood vessels clog up, you get cancer or something, guess who's gonna be there for you? Your woman. Is your friend gonna be there? He can only be there so much, dude. He ain't your wife. He ain't gonna wash your feet. He ain't gonna scratch you. You get burned. He ain't gonna scratch your skin and pull off the dead skin off your body. He's not gonna pick you up and help you to the bathroom so you can take a piss. See, man, we don't think about this stuff because we distracted, man. That's why I'm telling you, I'm sick of this crap. I'm sick of this crap, man. We need to man up and stop understanding. You know, we're emasculating ourselves. We're emasculating our boys like today. You know, I'm around these boys all the time. They all look like girls. They all emasculated because their daddies ain't nowhere around. Or if their daddy is around, he's so weak and soft. I don't mean weak and soft like I told my sons today. I don't mean weak and soft like physical strength. I mean weak and soft mentally. Mentally, man. It's a mental thing. This life is about mental thing. You gotta stop worrying about your feelings, man, and man up, man, and be a man. A man don't worry about his own feelings all the time. He worries about his woman's feelings and his kids' feelings and God's feelings, what God wants. And what he's doing everything he can to take the focus off himself and put it on the ones he loves and this world and the church. That's what a man does, man. Not sitting there crying about, you hurt my feelings, and his feelings, you hurt his feelings. Man, a man don't worry about, that's women's work worrying about feelings, man. Let them worry about feelings. Our job we got a job to do, and that's to raise boys that got some masculinity and manhood and manliness about them like Christ did. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so like I said before, if you get a divorce, here's what's going to happen. There's 5 top things that I believe, well, not that I believe, because I don't believe in talking in what is. I'm believing that I know what's going to happen. At least one of these 5 things is going to happen. You get divorced or you separate from your wife. You can take it to the bank. If you don't believe me, get your butt on the internet, talk to your friends, get divorced. They'll tell you. Here's number 1 thing that's going to happen. First, when you get divorced or you separate, multiple men will raise your children. They are no longer influenced by you. Why? Because you ain't around. When you separate from your woman, so you think I'll be having all this fun. I'll be going out here having sex with all these girls and women. I'll be going on date night. I'll be going on CatholicMatch.com or Christian Meetup or whatever y'all do. You're going to go on them sites and think you're going to get you a woman, try to take your mind off your, but guess what your kids going to do? After a while, your woman going to say, forget that. Especially if you get divorced. First thing your woman going to do, because man, believe it or not, if you don't want your woman, somebody else sure do. They sure do. Don't you think when you ain't around, somebody else gonna be with your woman? So if your woman's got another man, even if they just dating and ain't having sex, guess what? Your kids seeing they got a new daddy. Guess what their new daddy is? Whatever boyfriend she got at the time. You don't believe me? Ask your divorced friends, because I know you got some. Number 2, your wife, if you get divorced or separate, here's one of the first things women try to do. She try to move to another state or move to another town. You know why? She's trying to get away from your crazy butt. She can't take it no more. So she want to get as far away as you can so she can forget about you. So guess when she leaves, if you didn't get custody or 50% custody, first thing she's going to do, she's going to take the kids and she's out of there. She in a whole other state now. Oh, at first you're going to think it's cool because that's how dumb we are. Oh, that's cool. I ain't got to worry about it. She got it. Yeah, then what's going to happen? She got it. Then you want to see your kids. Then you start like Frasier. Frasier. I remember, you know that comedy Frasier? Oh, I love that comedy. That comedy. It started after Cheers did. But like, here's what happened. He divorced Lilith, right? He thought he moved to Seattle. His son moved with Lilith to wherever they moved to. And as the show goes around, you know, the show was on for like 12, 13 years. As the show goes along, his son and the writers of that show did a very good job of this because they showed exactly the truth. His son over the years got so screwed up because he wasn't around, because he's in Seattle being Mr. Show host, dating all these women and sleeping with them and everything. He can't get married. He left his wife Lilith. She's struggling. Now the kid's suffering. They only had one kid. So guess what happened? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. The little boy started wearing all black, putting on makeup. The little boy was smarting off to him, treating him like he ain't nothing, disrespecting him, you know, called him, he barely even called him daddy. See, that's what happened, man. You think that you're going to spend as much time, you think that we're going to get a divorce and I'm going to still be with my kid. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. You're going to spend a lot less time with your children. You know why? Because they live over there and you live over here. That's just the bottom line, man. Don't fool yourself, man. Really, come out of the twilight zone. Really, think about what you're doing. You're splitting up your family, man. You're losing your woman and you're losing your kids. And you think you're going to be happy after that? Next one. Your children are sexually, if you get divorced or separate and your wife starts messing with other dudes, your children are sexually abused. Main target, your daughter. Bam. Yeah, you can believe that if you don't want to, but most girls and boys that get molested, they know the people. You know the people. Mother knows the people. Look it up. Don't listen to me. Look it up. My wife tell me all the time. Man, kids are molested usually by people they know. like uncle, the boyfriend's uncle, the boyfriend's daddy or something. The kids are around and you ain't around. You the daddy, you the protector, defender, and server, and you let your kids go out here in the lion's den by themselves. You let your woman get out here in the society by herself and get, your woman gonna get eat up, and so are your kids. Your wife is gonna get ate up without you. You don't see. That's why you don't understand your responsibility as a man, dude. And I don't care. Get mad at me. You can kick my butt, whoop my butt all you want, but guess what? The truth is still gonna be in your face after I'm bleeding and on the floor bleeding, because you ain't doing your job. That's just the straight up total truth. And if you have some friends, some good friends, or a good daddy, or if he's around, he'd tell you the same thing. Next one. I said this a little bit before. The next one, if you get divorced, you will spend half the time with your kids than you did before the divorce. I already talked about that. You're going to spend a lot less time. That's just straight up. The last one, your wife poisons the children against you. If you get a divorce or get separated, your wife poisons the children against you. Now, she's a woman. She don't mean to, but you hurt her, dude. You hurt her. She's hurt. She's feeling it. You know, she feels she tried as much as she could, and you let her down. And she don't really want to take it out on the kids and stuff like that, but she's a woman, man. That's what they do. She has no more nurturing. She has no love. In order for your woman to be the nurturer of the home, she needs total and complete love from you. So when you ain't there and you're not manned up like you supposed to, your wife has no energy and no encouragement. She's got to do it all on her own. And she is not going to love those kids like she would if you was her soulmate and her dream maker still. That's the truth, man. And I know I keep saying that's the truth, but it is the truth. And I hate it. I hate it when I see a single mother. I hate it when I see these women that were to marry, now they're divorced, and they bring the kid along, calling Catholic answers every other day, talking about, yeah, he just picked up and he left me and the kids. He sure did. And the only thing when you listen to that, the only thing you can do is just pray for her and just wish the God that he come back. I got a friend now. Dude that went up there, left his wife and his kids, man. He just left them. They've been gone for a year. He's been gone for a year. He just left them. What kind of man is that? I mean, is that the kind of man you want? You want in this society? What you got to do to change that is you got to start being a man yourself and understand what that means. And Christ is your example. Okay. Other than your relationship, so my last thing is your wife will poison the kids against you. So when you start seeing the kids, they're going to be hugging you and telling you, Daddy, I love you, especially your little girl, because you know how little girls are. Oh, Daddy, I love you. Then eventually, though, over years and months and time and decades, by the time you see your kid again, man, that kid can't stand you because you hurt their mama. That's the truth. I mean, just look around you and don't listen. You don't have to listen to me because all this stuff is proven, dude. Just look in your environment. Okay. Other than a relationship with Christ, your marriage must come first. Before your mama, before your daddy, before your brother, before your sister, your friends, and yes, your children too. Why? First of all, because the Father commands it. You are to put your wife and your marriage first after him. Christ first, marriage second, children third, you last. Why? Because if you're following Christ, if you're leading your family towards Christ, you will be the man that your wife needs you to be. And then she ain't got to worry about submitting to you. She's going to want to submit to you because you're the man that Christ wants you to be. You on that journey. Boom. The second reason is, because the first reason is because the Father wants it, because he says in Ephesians, Ephesians 5 verse 31, that a man is to leave his wife, leave his mother, his father and his mother, and spend time and join with his wife, and they will ever become one flesh. Boom. The whole thing about that's my whole thing, man. One flesh. That's it. The second reason is without your wife, you don't have a family. That's why you got to put your wife first. Without your wife, Like I said before, she's the heart of your home. I don't care if she's Hillary Clinton. She is the heart of your home, and if she ain't right, ain't nothing gonna be right. And we all know right now Hillary Clinton ain't right. We can say all we want to. Bill, he just ain't got together. You know, I tell you right now, I tell you they kids ain't happy. I don't care if they kids are 40 years old. They kids ain't happy dealing with them. If they with them, you know. But it doesn't matter. The wife is the heart of the home, no matter if she works all the time or she don't. Because you can't do what your wife can do. I'm sorry, you just can't. So that's why she needs you and you need her. So without your woman, you ain't got a family. So don't get it twisted. Lastly, what is your number one mission as a husband? What is it? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your number one mission as a husband is to get your wife to heaven. That's why you don't date to have sex and stuff. You date somebody because you want to know if they are the man or the woman that can get you in front of God to get to heaven, dude. That's what you should be dating for. You never date for sex because sex ends, and it's crazy anyway. You come one time and you don't love the girl no more because you didn't have her. See, that's how dudes think. I used to think like that. I'm not tripping. I did. A lot of dudes think like that. And my wife always says, if girls knew how men really thought, they'd never had sex with them. And she's right. I don't care. All you dudes out there gonna be trying to act like, oh, I love her when I have sex with her. Well, if you loved her, man, show me some chastity. Show me some charity. Control yourself. Date the woman. Court the woman. Show her how much you love her before you stick it in. That's just the deal. If you really love her, show her. Marry her. Make her a woman out of her. Boom. That's it. So, your job is when you're married as a husband is to get your wife to heaven. Please read Ephesians 5 verses 21 through 33. God, that's the plan right there. And I'm going to talk about that in my next post. But dude, if you just follow that, follow Christ, your marriage will be unbelievable. But you got to understand what it's for. So to get your wife to heaven, how do you do it? How do you get your wife to heaven? You get your wife to heaven like this. You sacrifice. That's just it. That's the bottom line on it. You got to sacrifice. You got to unite your suffering with Christ. You got to do everything, to make your family what it needs to be. And you got to try your best. And that's called sacrifice. You got to get on your knees and pray for your wife. You got to get on your knees and pray for your marriage. You got to ask the Father to help you because you can't do it on your own. Prayer is sacrificing. Every day, a little each day, you give your life away in service of your beloved and the Father. That's what your manhood is all about. That's what your masculine is all about. Serving others. And the first two you serve. The first two is God first and your wife. And then your children. That's what it's about, man. I'm doing something right now I do not want to do. But I'm doing it because, my boys need it. I really don't want to do it, but I'm doing it as sacrifice. And what you do is you don't complain about it. What you do is you talk to God about it and you unite your suffering with Christ to help your family and to help the world. That's what you do. So that's it. I think that's it for today. So, question as always, let me ask you, are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? I know I talked your head off for 53 minutes. I told myself I wasn't going to do that, but I did it again. Are you ready to take your marriage to the next level? Sure, your marriage may be nice, but is it good? Is it great? Furthermore, is it legendary? If not, I want you to take my course, my 2-week email course, do the work. I got people signing up and, I've got people liking it, but the thing about the course is it's 2 weeks. You get emails every 3 or 4 days, but dudes don't want to do the work. And then they wonder why stuff ain't working out. Like I said, you have to sacrifice, man. You have to sacrifice. And if going through a 2-week email course is going to get your marriage on track, better yet, keep it on track, you should do that. So all you got to do is go to catholicalpha.com, and click on any page. The 2-week course to sign up is right above. It doesn't matter. It's right there. All you got to do is put in your name and email address, and then go to your email account and confirm you want the information. You start getting the email course right away. And the thing about it is, can you afford not to do it? I mean, can you afford to not at least look at it and to, the problem is we don't know what we don't know. And that's my whole thing I try to do. I don't know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. So I'm always trying to figure out how to do things better. And that should be the mission of every man, especially every husband. Try your best to make sure your wife and your children are right. Not just them, make sure you're right with God. So stop taking your marriage and your wife for granted and take action and learn something. Subscribe today. Also, if for a more in-depth view of what I talked about today, my blog post is way more in-depth. It has everything written out, the 5 points, the questions. It's all pretty and stuff for you. It's a really interesting read. Got some music for you. You can press the little nature sounds music. Hear the ocean going while you're reading and relaxing. And just check out the blog post. If you're on YouTube, click the link. It'll take you to the blog post and you can read it. But then I encourage you to always keep learning. Always keep learning the mysteries of your wife. Always keep, when she learns something new, you should be enthusiastic to learn what she learned. Get into her. That'll keep you out of, all the stuff I talked about will keep you out of divorce court and keep you out of marriage counseling. It will. But if you don't do the work and you continue to be lazy and put her second and third and fourth and fifth and stuff, she's going to feel it inside and she's going to start leaving you. I don't mean leaving you like getting out the door and walking away. She's going to start leaving you mentally. She's going to check out on you. So anyway, that's what I got. I'm done. And lastly, as we do every post, we're going to talk about Pope Benedict XVI's quote, which I love. It's called, society offers you comfort. Remember, society offers you comfort. They want you to be weak. They want you to play video games. They want everything to be soft so that you don't do nothing. So Pope Benedict says, society offers you comfort, but you weren't made for comfort. You were made for greatness. So go forth, Christian soldier. The spiritual battle is up on you. Fast, pray, and prepare